Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
All right. Are you ready? Indeed. It's 3 in the afternoon. Good day to everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of our weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and excellence, linked inspiration by yours truly, mentor Myron Sta, the corporate trainer and soft skills guru of the Philippines. And this is a very, how should I say this? This is a very interesting day, because once again, we're falling on Thursday, and as how I explained before, I call Thursday as Thirst Day. So it's another opportunity for us to thirst for additional knowledge, skills, and the right attitude so that we can be successful or more successful, whatever our quest or journey in life is, be it at work or for business or simply life in general. And there are so many reasons to be happy for or about today, and one of them is that we're going to have another guest, another featured guest who's going to inspire us and motivate us on the first half of our 1 hour together. And of course, on the second half, we're going to talk about his area of expertise, which is marketing and a lot of other topics that he's so into. And before anything else, I just want to welcome you guys. Thank you so much for continuously supporting LinkedIn Inspiration. And just so you know where this is happening both on LinkedIn and on YouTube. All right. So if you don't have a LinkedIn account yet, all right, and you're just seeing this on YouTube, okay, I'm not gonna promote LinkedIn. All right, I'm not like somebody who works for LinkedIn, but LinkedIn will definitely, it's a very good platform for you to learn a lot of things that you need to learn so that you can be successful or more successful in life. So if you don't have a LinkedIn account yet, sign up for one and make sure that you follow this, because this is going to be weekly, our LinkedIn Inspiration, every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And this is going to be streamed simultaneously on my personal YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and just look up Mentor Myron Sta. My entire address is youtube.com/mentor Myron Sta. And on LinkedIn, my account is linkedin.com/IN/mentor Myron Sta. So you don't have to literally type every single detail. Just sign up for one and then make sure that you follow our weekly online talk show called LinkedIn Inspiration, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and excellence. And without further ado, I'm not going to delay this any further, because I personally am excited to, of course, to learn from our guest for today. So it is my honor, privilege, and pleasure at the same time to introduce to you, and I'm just going to have him, say more about himself, our guest speaker for the third episode of LinkedIn Inspiration. All right, so our guest speaker is the founder of Perfect Start Coach, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about, what Perfect Start Coach is, what a Perfect Start Coach is, and why he calls himself as such. He is also the author of Growth Chase, all right? So it's your chance to inquire how to get one copy for yourself, and of course to ask him what the book is about, all right? He's also a certified practitioner of DISC, D-I-S-C, Personality Profile, so DPP, and Profiles Personality Indicator, or PPI. And he's also an independent marketing consultant on strategic marketing. And he's also the new president-elect for 2022 term of the Philippine Advocates for Consultants and Trainers Incorporated, or PAC Inc. Let's all welcome our guest for today's episode of LinkedIn Inspiration, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and excellence, Coach Malvin Dinlasan. All right. There you have it. Okay, Coach. How are you today? my friend,
I'm good.
our
Thank
new
you.
president, the president-elect of PAC for 2022. Thank you and congrats for being our new president.
Thank you so much. That's such an introduction. I don't know
Did
what to say.
I pull it off?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
it was
Actually,
really impactful, like our acronym for PAC, right?
yep. I'm really grateful for this interview, and this is the first interview I will have for
For
2022
2022, wow.
as as the current president of PACT. So I'm grateful for this, Myron. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Well, I'm gonna say you're welcome, but actually, I'm gonna have to thank you multiple times over because, of course, you found time to grace this event. You know, this 1 hour we're gonna take away from you is such a big deal because we know how busy you are as a person, as an entrepreneur, and of course, as a very supportive, husband to your wife for sure. All right. So, Coach
I
Malvin,
should
as
be
I
happy for
mentioned.
that.
Coach Malvin, as I mentioned earlier, we would love to be inspired and motivated by you. So, for the first half of our show, we're going to talk about your entrepreneurial journey.
Uh-huh.
So, my first question is could you please, I'm really very intrigued by this. Could you tell us about a perfect start coach? Who is a perfect start coach and what does he or she do? Go.
Oh, it's very simple. We all had experiences, and there are good experiences and bad experiences. But most of us, we take note of the bad experiences, right? So the thing is, the reason I created the Perfect Start Coach is to really give a new dimension or a new perspective in terms of having a new beginning, or um, well, parang when you fell off, you need to stand again.
Yeah.
So from there, I coined the name Perfect. So, but we know, of course, there's no one perfect, right? But the
Mhm.
thing is,
Right.
it really changes the way we see things. Now, if you see that your second chance or your third chance after a failure or after a something that you did wrong, if you see that this is my second chance, third chance, and this would be uh, the perfect start or the perfect beginning for me. So why not take it? But a lot of people are really scared to take again or take risk again. So that's why I'm here to really push everyone. Hey, you should have a perfect start because you can have a perfect start. So
Wow,
you
that's
can
really awesome. So it's like perfect start, perfect try, perfect beginning, perfect
exactly.
first move, right?
Yeah, because I'm a believer of branding. So if you brand, I'm a marketing person myself. So if you brand something that is perfect, that's gonna be beautiful, that's gonna be wonderful, and that's sets aside or if you will rate it, it's gonna be a 5-star start. Then just do it, right? Until you make it, until it happens to your life. So
That's really
well,
awesome.
that's the real story of Perfect Start. Because I have been to a lot of industries. I started as a salesman and I transferred from one industry to another. I started a lot of things in my life, and if you will ask me, I can tell you how many things I've done in myself through the employment that I have, and also when I
We
started
actually like to
taking.
learn more about you, Coach. You mentioned that you started as a salesman. So,
Yeah,
what were you selling?
I was selling books. I was
Oh,
selling books by
books. I
then.
see.
I was selling books.
So, before you were selling books, now you have your own book you're selling, right?
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
So, which is
And
more difficult, selling other people's book for them or selling your own book?
but I think it's pretty much the same. It's because you're doing the same discipline. So you're selling it, you're promoting the value of it. Just for me, I think it's more challenging for you to sell yourself.
Correct.
Practically because sometimes if you're familiar with the syndrome wherein you try to promote yourself and people will look at you as oh it's somebody who just wrote a book and then now he's a best-selling writer. So it's a challenge. So it's better for me before to sell other people's books because I know they're well-known authors and they're
Mhm.
best-selling authors. They're
Correct.
already good at what they are doing. Everybody knows them.
Sure.
But as for me, I need to promote myself in order for me to promote the book. So it's myself first before the book.
But coach, what was the turning point in your life? How did you go from your humble beginning of selling other people's books to starting this, right? Your perfect start coach brand and becoming an author or the author of your own book, Growth Chase.
I
So what
guess
was the journey be like?
well, I guess it's because of the frustrations I had. Um, because I'm an avid fan of books, so I also bring books everywhere. The thing is, there are a lot of words and phrases that I want to know. And
Mm,
sadly, you can't just see it in anywhere. Like most books are written from their experiences, and
correct.
some experiences are not my experiences. So the thing is, I created my own book so that I can tell myself these are the right words for me. These are the
Correct. That
real
you can
words for
relate to
me.
because it's your own life story,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the situations are really specific to what I experienced. And I was really surprised because when my book went out, a lot of people are they got related to it. They think that it's also me. It was me. It's really someone when I they're telling me when they're reading the book. It's like you are telling me these things. I can hear you vividly. I can hear you loudly in my ears, and it was really a surprise. I didn't intend it that way. But I guess that's part of the journey.
It sure is. By the way, Coach, let me just show to you this comment from Mr. Rudy
Rudy.
Ebid. I hope we're saying his last name correctly. He says, "Watching while from office here in Bulacan." Thank you, Sir Rudy, for watching us,
Hi,
and
Rudy. Thank you.
hopefully that you will learn a lot from both of us, especially our guest speaker for today, Coach Malvin Dinlasan.
Mhm.
Coach Malvin, you know that this is about weekly dose of inspiration and motivation. So
Mhm.
I personally, and I'm also like going to ask this on behalf of our viewers and audiences, right? What were your challenges as you started this entrepreneurial journey of yours? What were the stumbling blocks you had to get rid of the way?
There are a lot actually. First would be my mindset. Of course,
Your mindset.
yeah, transitioning from being an employee into an entrepreneur, and you're selling something, and those are your products or your services. It's really hard. It's really very challenging. And the second would be the resources, because you really need to find the right things, the right tools that you need in order for you to beef up your business. And third would be the challenging is you need a sort of support system for
Support
you to
system.
really become someone that you wanted to be like. You pull up people wherein they share your the same values, they share the same experiences and the principles. Because it's really hard to start something if you don't know where to go and where to start. That's why I'm the perfect start coach. So I help people to really figure it out. How do you really start on this? How do I really put up this business? How do I beef up my marketing strategy or something? Because I'm really stuck in between or somewhere in the corner. So those are the challenges that I have. And once I already embrace that I am already an entrepreneur, I am not an employee, then things started to change. So I do a to-do list, I do an action plan, gearing up towards how to really build up myself as the perfect start coach.
Okay, let me just repeat what you said. So we need to have a plan, a to-do list, right? You can't just think of something you want to do or start with out of nowhere, right? Everything
Yep.
must be put in writing, right, Coach?
Yep.
And you know what? Consider this a very common or cliche question, but I want to ask it anyways, right? So you mentioned earlier that when you were starting, right, you had challenges with your resources, particularly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure you would agree with me on this. One particular resource that a lot of starting entrepreneurs have a challenge with would be the capitalization, right? So when
Yeah.
you started your business journey, how much capital did you really need, and how did you get it?
Well, um, it's really one of the best questions that you ask when someone is creating his own business. If you talk about capitalization, but there are two ways that you can do it. For me, I partnered with people so that I won't shell out too much capital. So for me to transition to a speaker, to become a speaker, to become a consultant, so I partnered with people. Can we speak? Can I speak on your organization until you can really say that I can charge for it now. That's the first thing. And second thing is you really have the capital. So it's either you can borrow money from a friend or from a bank, take a loan or something, or you do the business side by side with an existing employment, so that you will not be zero and just put at least 20 to 30% money on your business,
Mhm.
as thinking about it that sooner or later it will become your business and give up the employment. So those are the things that you can do. But for me, I do both. I did both actually. So I partnered with people. I do an employment, but at the side, I do my own speakings. I consult with small businesses so that I will get the rhythm of becoming an entrepreneur. And until I give up the employment, and now I'm doing it for at least full time.
To our enter trainees out there, I hope that you guys are really watching and listening to this, because Coach Malvin affirmed himself that when you're starting a business, unless capitalization is really a massive requirement, that one of the resources that you can leverage is collaboration, right?
Yep.
When he mentioned that I didn't really need to have so much money. I just needed to find people I have or share common things with and partner with them. And you know, Coach Malvin, that we have something to call this by in our organization, right? We call this collaboration,
Yes,
right?
collaboration.
Collaboration with love, right? So find people that you can collaborate with love, and they will be the ones to help you, even if, all right, you have a measly capital in the beginning,
Yeah.
correct?
I think that's one of the differences when you know what to do and you don't know what to do. Because when you know what to do, you don't have to really shell out too much of the resources. You can just partner with the
Exactly.
people. And some people, they really think about it as I will do it myself. Actually, if you can do it, then it's okay. But if not, then it's not bad for you to ask help from other people. And in fact, friends would love that to work with you, right? And you both promote together, you both do it together, so you share the resources as well, you share the opportunities, and it's really good experience to you to really build a relationship with other people more than you just doing it on yourself. And I think that's the greater frustration if you do it on yourself and then you failed, you frustrate yourself, you don't, you can't talk to anyone about it because you don't, they
Correct.
don't know what you're doing. So for me, it really worked when I pull a person or a friend and, hey guy, can we work together on this? You do this and I do this. So that's industrial partnership, I guess.
Definitely.
You
And
share the
that's how
resources.
I knew you, and that's also how you knew me, right?
Yes,
Coach
actually
Malcolm,
that's
I want to go back to your experience before you started all of this, right?
mhm,
We remember that earlier you said that you started being a salesman, right? You were
mhm.
selling books. But could you tell more about all the work experiences that you had that became like, that filled your arsenal to be ready and prepared for this tough task ahead of you of becoming an entrepreneur and influencer at the same time?
Yeah. Well, it's really a funny story. When I started as a salesman at a publishing company, I was promoted after two years, and then
Mhm.
as a supervisor, as a very young supervisor back then, I seated on the supervisory level for at least 1.5 years, and after that, I really felt that there's something in me that uh, I need to pour out and show it to the world. So as young as I am, so I resigned and I really look for a new company. The funny thing there is I really thought that I know everything because I had that position as a supervisor. I'm managing two people. I'm managing the sales. It was quite good. But the moment you think that you know everything is the first step to a tragic frustration. So that's what I learned from that. And it took me at least 8 months to find another job. And then from there, I accepted that I need to start again. I need to start from ground zero. It's not me as a supervisor, or I don't have anything to prove to other people. I started from the bottom low again as a staff, and then I climbed up the ladder until I became a business development officer of an advertising company, and then I become the business director of one of my friends' businesses in digital marketing. So I learned it in the hard way. And if you can call it the hard way university or the hard way academy, it is the real academy, because not everything you can learn from just reading books or asking people about it. It's actually the way you experience it. It will really teach you the right ways, the right things, and the right people who will work with you throughout your journey. So it wasn't that easy, because a lot of heartaches, a lot of course difficulties. You can
Sure.
mention the resources, you can mention the lack of support system, and the lack of anything that you're expecting to, plus the unnecessary circumstances. So a lot of them. That's the way we really learn. So I must say it was quite a good journey for many years that I've been through, from the employment until I
We can
became
tell.
the one I am right now.
Thank you so much, Coach Malvin. I have more follow up questions from or for what you said, but before that, let's just acknowledge some comments here. Most of them are coming from our YouTube stream. So
Oh,
we have here Make It Viral Videos TV saying, "Good afternoon, mentor." There. We also have Amazing Life Hacks TV. I believe these are fellow YouTubers, right?
yeah.
Hello, sir. We miss your live episodes there. And we also have Black Scott TV. Hello, mentor,
Oh,
and Coach Malvin watching from Kuwait. So
wow.
we have followers in Kuwait. And we also have Maria Loresco. Good afternoon, mentor there. And I can tell with the emotion that their comments exude, that they really appreciate that they're watching and listening to you live, Coach Malvin. There,
Thank you, guys.
Coach Malvin. Yes, I can say that you had your share of successes and
Mm,
pain, struggles, challenges when you were still an employee, right? And I want to ask this on behalf of all of our viewers and listeners out there. Coach Malvin, how could I tell? Is there a clue, an indicator somewhere that would tell us that, hey, even though you've been doing good as an employee, there's a calling that you should look at, that you should
yeah.
listen to. That okay, that for now you may be an employee, but there's a new destiny for you waiting for you out there. Like in your case, you became the perfect start coach and the author of Growth Chase. So I knew earlier I asked about what was a turning point, right? But if you could answer this for our audience, how can we tell there's a calling?
The calling will come from within. It's like you're crying inside and you don't know how to really make it into words or put it into words. So the indicators, of course, there are indicators, and it's very risky for you to jump into something without any indicator, right?
Of course.
So a lot of people that I know, my friends, they tell me that I'm a people person. So that's one indicator. The second is they tell me I'm very encouraging. So that's the second indicator. Until
Okay.
now, I'm really puzzled why they tell me that I'm a very encouraging person. I don't know. I don't
Well, I
understand
can
that
say
one.
you are.
Right? So those are the two indicators. And lastly, probably because I was exposed to a lot of trainers. I was exposed to training. I'm exposed myself to um, notable persons, the writers, the speakers. So I guess I got those inclinations. What if I will be one of them? What if I will share the stage with them? What if I buy their books and they'll pick their brains and learn it and share it to others? And because as you can see, my I have guitars in my background, so I'm a
Yeah.
musician. So I also train other people how to uh, play guitar and keyboard. So I found out maybe I have that kind of talent in training other people or helping them, just figuring out what they do in their lives. So I jumped it off. I accepted some invitations to speak, and then I learned it. Once I had an invitation from a certain author, uh, and it just gave me 10 minutes to speak about motivation or something that will encourage other people. So I had the 10 minutes, the perfect 10 minutes of my life. I don't know if I
You
can
didn't
tell
give an
that to you
extension?
again. No, 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 because I really practice it. So it was really
Oh,
natural
okay.
for me when I delivered it. It's just 10 minutes, five slides, 10 minutes, and I'm done. And all of them are saying, "Wow!" And then first time in my life, someone clapped for me.
Wow.
I, I I don't know. What did I do? What did I do? It's just telling you my story. And from there, maybe I have a chance to become a motivational speaker. And again, as a coach for someone who is struggling. And to take note, I'm coaching people. I'm also coaching people who has businesses. So it's a different thing. So coaching people on their talents, on their careers, and another ones are those who have their businesses. What do they do? What do they do with their people? So it boils down to helping other people, and it gives me energy whenever I extend my reach to others, and then tell them what to do and advise them, and probably help them figure it out what to do. One, two, three, four, five, an action plan for them. um it's my success, I guess. It's a humble success. If you have that kind of heart like me in serving other people, it will really burst up. So
Correct.
then
I
I
agree.
decided, maybe I should I should do this more often. So I accepted a lot of invitations, trying to speak about marketing, at the same time motivating other people to be excellent in their work, become an achiever. And I also do career talks, and it enhances me. You would know if that calling is your calling if you don't get tired, even if you do it almost every day.
Passion.
That's not
Correct.
the work. That's not the work. That's the calling. Because work, you can just put it on 8 to 5 time frame. And after 5 p.m., I'm no longer perfect start coach. That's not the way it used to be.
The eight to
Ah,
five coach there.
I'm not a coach for just 8 to 5. Someone can call me 9 p.m. or text me asking for something. Of course, not everyone I can answer right away, but it really um, revives my energy whenever people reach out, and I know I can help them. That's the calling, and I can do it all day. In fact, we can talk for 3 hours here, Myron. We can talk about everything
No
about the
problem.
universe.
How I
Huh?
wish. But we would only be here until 4 o'clock,
4 p.m.
right there.
4 p.m.
Coach
So
Malvin,
but
before we go on a quick commercial, I would like to, put the perfect start coach part of you on the side, and talk about your book here, Growth
yeah,
Chase.
yeah,
So,
growth
what is
chase.
this book about, and what value addition will they get from this?
This book is about an endless chase. We were told about success, right? And you can see, search in YouTube, search in Facebook, search in Google about success. A lot of motivational talks, memes, and posters and phrases and anything about motivation. You can see it about success.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, success is just the byproduct of you taking the growth, taking risk, and creating a development for yourself. Success is
Right.
just a byproduct, and that's why growth is an endless chase. You don't stop being better, being greater
Right
than
about that.
yesterday. Yeah, because it's really an endless chase, and we were told to really chase success every day. In fact, it's really the banner curve of everyone. Chase success, go to success, prove everyone that you are good. For me, if you work it out inside, it will be natural for you to aim success. I won't be surprised for someone who has been training many hours in his craft, whatever it is. I will not be surprised if he will become one of the greatest in the world. That's how athletes do. That's how musicians do their work. They spend more time and hours and days and years practicing and mastering their craft. That's where this book come from. Growth chase. If we chase growth, then success will be just following us. We
Yeah.
don't run for success. Success will just chasing us, because we know when we master our craft and when we do things in the right way and correct way, and you evaluated your experience, then you're chasing growth and not success. That's all this book all about.
Very well said, Coach Malvin. Of course, we're gonna give you a chance to like well, of course, promote your book
Yeah.
before we all end our show for today. But before that, once again, guys, you are watching LinkedIn Inspiration, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and excellence. And with us is Coach Malvin Dinlasan, the founder of Perfect Start Coach. Don't you guys go away because we will come back for the second half. We're going to talk about Coach Malvin Dinlasan's expertise, right? I don't want to get ahead of him. He will let you know what his expertise is. And it's time for you guys to grab your notebook, all right, or your tablet or your computer because you're going to learn a lot of wisdom from him, okay? So don't go away. We will be right back. LinkedIn Inspiration, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and excellence is brought to us all by MSS Business Solutions, guiding you to success, the leader in soft skills entertainment and development in the Philippines. CPCP, Certified Professional Corporate Trainer. Let's make training your business. Thought Leaders Philippines, your go-to company for the country's best professional corporate trainers, speakers, consultants, coaches, and facilitators. Santa Ana Woodworking. Let's make your dream come true. Miracle Maya's quality homemade gourmet to your place. Affordably good. MNB online shop. Everything you're looking for is here. And Protective Solutions Philippines. Let's keep you protected, safe, and away from harm as we all battle this ongoing pandemic. Thank you for supporting LinkedIn Inspiration, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and excellence by mentor Myron Sta. All right, guys, welcome back. You're watching LinkedIn Inspiration, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and excellence by yours truly, mentor Myron Sta. And our guest is still here, all right? And before we bring him right back in, I just want to acknowledge this comment from, let's show it, Dr. Manuel Guzman Jr. And he just affirmed what Coach Malvin said earlier about this calling, all right, by saying the word passion. There you go. Guys, we're streaming live on LinkedIn and on YouTube simultaneously. And if you want to take part in this conversation with our guests, just type in the respective comment sections or chat boxes. All right. And we will do our best to acknowledge your questions or comments or even suggestions and have our coach recognize them and respond to them. Okay. Now let's bring right back in the founder of Perfect Start Coach and the author of Growth Chase, Coach Malvin Dinlasan. Welcome back, Coach.
Hello.
I would just like you to know that we're really learning a lot, from your life story, from your transition to becoming an entrepreneur, from your being a Perfect Start coach and the help that you provide to your coaches. And of course, wow, I would not miss giving you the chance to promote your book because I'm pretty sure that our audience here would like to buy a copy of that, your Growth Chase book. Now, for the second part, Coach Malvin, we would like to talk about your expertise. So of all the topics or programs that your clients get you for, be it training, speaking, consulting, or coaching, what's your number one expertise?
I'm known for speaking about leadership.
Leadership, I see.
I also talk about personal leadership and how it affects the team. So, as a motivational speaker, I guess everyone starts with the leadership, and the change would also start from personal leadership. So, people and companies, corporates, get my services to really train their people how to find their inner leadership, how to make it work in a team. And besides, I also teach about culture. So how to develop culture in the team, the culture of the company and the brand. Um, and on the side, I also talk about marketing. So it's really funny that marketing and the training and success can really blend together. I don't know why it was really blended together. Because when you talk about marketing, you also talk about leadership, and you talk about
Right.
leadership, you also talk about marketing. You're
Yeah.
marketing yourself, you're marketing your services, at the same time you're marketing yourself as a leader, or the company as a leader. So it goes hand in hand.
Mhm.
But I always
We will
have
not
where
miss all those three aspects, Coach Malvin, and it's perfect because your expertise or expert topics are three. So we
yeah.
have 30 minutes remaining. Let's talk about them. Let's dedicate 10 minutes each. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
sure.
Let's talk about leadership first. So, what is Coach
Yeah.
Malvin's brand or explanation of leadership? You're talking about inner leadership. Okay. What is this about, and how do they bring this out?
Um, one of the definitions of leadership that I really love is that you have developed the influence, and you have the
Influence.
power to influence other people's decisions,
Mm-hmm.
thinking, and believe to themselves. And if you really challenge other people to change for the better, for me, that's leadership, because all of us are given that kind of opportunity to change other people's minds. It's just that sometimes it takes time, but sometimes it takes just a word for you to change other people or encourage them to change. So whenever someone goes to me and asks me, um, how would I, how can I be like you or something, or how can I be the best of the best version of me? How can I really climb the ladder of success? I always talk about leadership. What do you know about leadership? What is your perspective about leadership? Because we all differ in the uh, um, explanation or definition of leadership. Sometimes leadership can be just a position. Sometimes leadership just is just something that you put into,
Mm-hmm.
or it's just a paperwork, or it's just someone's authority. But when you talk about leadership, it's really an opportunity to lead others, whether you are in the position or not, whether you have the authority or not. Because if you have that power or the influence to change other people's perspective, then by that time you are the leader. So we all talk about it. We all start from there. It's a perspective, it's a lifestyle, it's a behavior, it's a habit, it's a character. All of them boils down to leadership. How do you lead yourself, and how you treat yourself most probably would be the same way you treat other people. So that's why we work inside and out. That's my
Correct.
principle of leadership. Before you change a person, before you really teach him or her the habits, the new habits, you have to deal with the character first. You have to deal with how
Correct.
he sees leadership first, so that he can apply it to himself initially, and second, to other people.
Coach Malvin, I'm pretty sure that our viewers would say, yeah, Coach Malvin is right about that. So leading is influencing. If you want them to change, they will change. If you want them to follow you, they will follow you. If you want them to believe in something, they will believe in it. But one of the questions I'm also often asked, and I would like to ask you regarding this, Coach Malvin, is some people say, you know what, influencing is easier said than done, right? I tell them what they need to hear from me. I tell them what they need to do. I tell them how they need to change and how change will benefit them. But the thing is, I have this feeling, coach, that it's like they're not listening to me. It's like I'm not influential enough. So, how do you really properly influence people to the point that they believe in us?
You can only influence people if you are genuine with your relationship. That's the best thing I learned throughout
I
my
like that.
career. Because if you are not genuine enough, people would know. If you're just blubbing and blubbing, if you're just making out things or an experience, or just making a story, or just put yourself into a position and then you're just telling me what to do. Before you really grab the hand of a person, you really need to grab the heart first.
Correct.
Before you change the mind, you need to change the heart first. You need to touch the heart first. That's why a lot of leaders fail because they see that leadership is a position and it's just a give and it's just taking and taking, not giving.
Right.
And
Do
on
this, do
the
that,
on the
right?
perspective of servant leadership, you serve first so that you win the person, so that you will become more influential in his or her life. That's
I
relationship
agree.
building. So serve first before you really ask for something. You need to give first. And the danger is, of course, we all know this. You cannot give what you don't have. So if you don't have a leadership, personal leadership, you are not secured about your dignity, about your credibility. You're not secured in that you will shell out, dish out um, criticisms that are not healthy for other people. But if you're secure to yourself, you master the personal leadership, then it's easier for you to build relationship with other people, no matter how difficult they are, no matter how difficult person they are. You can really touch them slowly but surely.
I agree with you, Coach Malvin, because I'm thinking of myself, and I immediately like somebody, like a supervisor or a manager, right? I I agree with him. I
Mm-hmm.
follow him,
Mm-hmm.
right? I do as he says because I like his personality and
Yep.
I look up to him. I know that he has my best interests in mind. So if I am dealing with a charismatic leader like that,
Mm-hmm.
then this person will not have a hard time influencing me. So I
Exactly.
definitely agree with you on that. Thank you, Coach Malvin. That's really an eye opener, a wake up call for
Yeah.
most of us. By the way, before we proceed to my next question, let me just show this comment from Mr. Rudy Ibid again. Great
Hi,
insights from
Rudy.
both amazing people. There you go.
Yeah.
And Make It Borrow Videos commented again. He said, thanks for sharing your wisdom, guys. Okay. And earlier I told you that we are going to talk about all three of your expert topics, right? Second is culture.
Uh huh.
This is such a very big word, right? Culture.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like very intimidating, overwhelming, right? But what is it? What is it about culture that you share or talk about to other people?
Well,
That
uh,
if they would go ahead, Coach Malvin.
I learned from marketing, so I'm wearing different hats. So I learned from marketing when there are two or three people who believe in the same way, believe in the same things, share the same values. They are called community. And before
Correct.
you create a culture, everyone starts with the sense of belonging in a community. It's easier said than done, of course. Community is what you call in the marketing, wherein you have a lot of people likes or hearts in your Facebook page. You have a community already because you're famous. But in reality, community is really one of the difficult things to really start because you are dealing with different personalities. So how many people are you in the company? So you are 20 and 20 different personalities. If you are 350, 50 different personalities. Even if
Correct.
you take the DISC personality profiles, profiling, you will end up having a different personality again with the person.
Yeah.
It's a good
It's
thing if you
like
know
no
your
two of
tribe.
our people are the same, right?
Yeah. Birds with the same feather? I don't think so because how many feathers do they have? So there's still a difference, right? And how long and how short your feathers are. That's the reality. So before you build the culture, you need to develop the community first. And before you develop the community, you need to understand people, their strengths, their weaknesses, how they contribute to the organization, and that's the time that you would understand what's the common ground. How do we lead people to become a community so that we can establish our culture? So I'm consulting a company right now. There are 7, 8 people in the company. I coach individually per month basis. So there are a lot of set of questions that I will ask them and check with them how they're promoting the culture of the company. So it really takes time. So we all boil down to the first thing, leadership, and then um, you discover their personalities, and they manage their personalities. They blend together. Then you can call them a community. And if they click together for a longer time, that's already a culture. And when you say culture, people are saying the same things. People are thinking the same things, decide on the same things. They all work together as one because they know the vision of the company. For me, that's a good, and I think that's a perfect culture when everyone understands why they are there in the company, at the same time, why they are working with others, and how they accepted others to become their colleagues. That's
So, Coach, I
culture.
would just like to get some clarification on this based from your perspective. So,
Yeah.
does the culture build or form the people in terms of their personality, attitude, etc., or do the people build or form the culture? Which is which?
Well, the people builds the culture actually. But if you own the company, you'd set the tone of what this company would be. Then you will find the right people to fit on that culture. Because I understand not everyone can really fit in the same environments. Like for me,
Exactly.
I don't work I didn't work in a BPO wherein you're wide and awake at 10 p.m. and then go home at 6 a.m. when you will meet the sun. I am not that kind of person, but there are a lot of people who are successful in that way, and I admire them because that's not me. So, um, you have the culture, and you have the set of people who will blend and who will be fitted on the culture that you have. Because again, going back, you have to build the community first. Now, in the community, not everyone will be fitted at the first, the second try. Of course, there are people who will resign, and people there are some who will not find themselves fitted until you build the right community, and then you have built the right culture of the company because every one of them, they think the same way.
Wow. Such wonderful words coming from Coach Malvin. Guys, we still have 12 minutes left, and you shouldn't be missing out on this. Link to Inspiration, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, excellence, courtesy of Coach Malvin. Coach Malvin, this is just my last question for the culture topic, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you think that because of this pandemic, new normal thing, that companies should change or adapt their corporate culture, or it doesn't really matter? It just remains the same. This pandemic or the new normal situation didn't have to force change the culture. What is your take on that?
Actually, from the start, you already have the culture. So you already set it on a tone. It's just that the environment changed. So,
Mm,
to answer your question, the culture is already there because somehow before the pandemic, you have built the community already. 2, 3 years they've been working together. It's a really good community. You have established the culture already, right? Even
correct.
before the pandemic. Now, when pandemic hits, what changes are just the structures, the processes, but not the people,
Not the
right?
people, yeah.
So you still have the culture inside of you. You just have to relate on a different terms. So for example, a little bit adjustment of the processes because the culture says that we appreciate people whether they are in the good terms or bad terms. So if the culture says that um, we are eyeing for excellence, then you translate it to an activity that will make them excellent at their work, even if this is work from home. So
Correct.
the culture remains because you still have the same people, unless they leave and they don't want to work anymore. So that's a different
Hopefully they
story.
don't and won't.
Exactly. But again, the owners are still there. The managers are still there. So it means the company is still existing. So the culture is there. It's just that you need to adapt on a new ways on how to maintain the culture. So you don't necessarily need to change the culture because the culture is already there. People signed up for the culture, not just for the company. And if
Exactly.
you're an HR, if you're an HR practitioner, you always ask them, or people will ask you, or the applicants, what's the culture of the company? Because that's the first thing that they will buy into. Next is the compensation, right?
This is
Or
compensation. Everything else,
somehow,
right?
yeah, because I met a lot of people who are very compensated well, but they don't like the culture. Every day
And they still leave,
uh,
right?
they still leave for 3 to 6 months, or they don't get regulars because they don't like the culture, but they are really paid well.
There
So
you go.
people sign up because of the culture.
There you
And you
go.
don't have to change it. You don't have to change it. You just have to change how you approach it on how to maintain the culture of the company.
There you go. So, guys, to all the organizational leaders, influencers, and members out there, ensure that there's always this organization person compatibility or
Yes.
fitness coming from Coach Malvin. All right, Coach Malvin, before we go to the last topic, which is marketing, because we
Mhm.
really want to, get a piece of your mind about how marketing has changed because of the new normal thing. Let's first acknowledge some comments here. So Black Scout TV
Yeah.
said this is very helpful.
Oh, that's great.
Maria Loresco said this topic is so amazing, guys. Would love to share this to my colleagues. Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
please. Thank you. Angela Gomez said, glad to be here. And she has a follow up. Thanks for sharing Lods there. You are the Lods there.
I
I
know.
agree with that, coach. I think this refers to what you were mentioning earlier. And Maria Loresco again, agree how company adapt new changes. There you go. All right. So, Coach Melvin, the third one you mentioned that you specialize in is marketing. But what's your version of marketing? And you see, because of this new normal thing, right? They say marketing needs also to adjust.
Yep.
So, if you want to speak with organizational leaders, owners, investors, and of course the top management, right? What should they do to their marketing to cope well with the demands and challenges of the pandemic? Go ahead, coach.
When we talk about marketing, we need to understand that we're talking about stories because marketing are stories. So that's
Yes.
one of the best thing that I learned from Seth Godin. So Seth Godin is one of the marketing gurus in the world. So it's just stories. Um, Even if you don't have the pandemic, you still have the challenges. It's just that the pandemic is very obvious. So what I can see with the industries right now, they have the ability to adapt. And sadly, for some or industries like the hotels, the travel, they're really badly hit. And sometimes we are giving up because no one is allowed to go out and no one is allowed to have a recreation. So how do you really do it? So it's about the story to tell. It's about how you really make things up for the changes. So, for example, if your restaurant is not doing well because of the pandemic, then
Mm-hmm.
probably change some structures, make it al fresco, and then tell stories that we're still here, the same tapsilog or the same menu, the same pasta that you love are still here. It's just that with a different look or the different take or something or a different number of hours. It's just how do you really paint a picture on people will buy the products or your services. It's all about stories. The but the stories are really neglected because they think, or most companies or most company owners, business owners are thinking they really lost a lot of things. So I really understand. Some of them are really confused on what to do because they lost. And for you as a business person to be losing money, that will really make you crazy. That's really one of the disruptive environments you will be in as a business person. But there are changes, of course. You can change the analogy, you can change the description of the company or the brand that you're telling, or you can make a lot of stories to really build up the businesses. That's one thing that people forgot when you have business. You are talking to people. You are
Yes, you
not
are.
selling. You are not selling something. People buy because you tell stories. People buy because someone told me that your pasta or your meatballs are good. So I would
Yes,
try it. That's the nature, right?
correct.
It's a word of mouth marketing, but it still works, right? It still works. And we have social media, we have technology. We can utilize that. The same message that you have, the same products that you have, if you can tweak it, it's okay. But the same messages that you tell and the same stories that you tell your customers will remain. They would understand if you will change your narrative, like if you are into veggies or if you are into that falls under niche marketing, of course. um, how you really select your communication to other people, but it boils down with the stories. What are you going to tell them? Are you going to tell them that you're closing? Are you going to tell them that you are thriving? That's a different thing. So for me, you need to tell them you are thriving and you're using different channels. And then we are grateful because we have deliveries or online deliveries, so that can help us. So
Flexibility. Yeah.
logistics, yeah, flexibility. So that's it. I guess we need to master that. How to really change the narrative. Same message, but different narrative, different presentation of your business so that people would know you still exist. And I would this is a hard truth. Some businesses close because they don't know how to tell the stories anymore. And we cannot
And
blame them. That's
authentic
experience.
story. That is, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And the good thing naman, the good thing is when they know that they are already giving up. They already given up the business and this is not work, but they already pivoted to another business, right? So so I guess it's really how to manage your communication, your story to your customers, because the customers are still there. And in fact, there are a lot of businesses was opened in during the pandemic than before the pandemic. That's the thing. That's very ironic. And those people, because they know how to market and they know who they're talking to, they know the story to tell us. That's it. Just a simple bread pastry shop or a newborn coffee shop or something, pop-up coffee store. Like you just have a van and just pull out a table and then you have a coffee maker. That's good. That's a business, right? So there are a lot of stories out there that can encourage us. So remember, marketing is telling stories. So people will remember you on the stories you told them. That is marketing.
There you go. Whew. Coach Malvin, we don't want this to end. It's like what you said earlier, you can go on and on and on, right? You can do this all day.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Coach Malvin, our time has already come to say goodbye. But before that, as I committed to earlier, Coach Malvin, because I'm pretty sure that they would like to know how to get a hold of your book, right?
Yep.
So if they would like to engage your training, consulting, or speaking service on leadership, culture, or marketing, the three specializations you mentioned earlier,
Yep.
where can they find you online? How can they contact you? And how can they also get a copy of your Growth Chase book? Go ahead, Coach Malvin.
Yeah. So you just go to my website, and the website is perfectstartcoach.com. So everything that you need is already there. And you can also reach me from my Facebook. So it's Malvin Dinlasan. So fb.com slash Malvin Dinlasan, or IG, Instagram, it's Malvin Dinlasan. And you can get a copy from my book from the website, which is
Website.
under the new look. So we will just launch it next week. So but it's
Next
still
week.
available. Yeah, it's still
God
available. It's
bless
still
and good
available.
luck.
It's okay. It's already there. It's already there. It's just that we need a little bit of patch up. But go to perfectstartcoach.com and you will see what you need to see about Perfect Start Coach.
There you have it. Don't forget that perfectstartcoach.com and visit him on his socials. There you go, guys. Once again, it's been an honor, privilege. He's not only the founder of Perfect Start Coach, he's also the new president for 2022 of the Philippine Advocates for Consultants and Trainers Inc. or PAC. Once again, let's give it up. Let's give a virtual big round of applause to Coach Malvin.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you. Thank
much,
you.
Coach Malvin, and we would forever treasure all the great things you've mentioned. And definitely these people who watched you, who listened to you, will bring those back in their respective careers or professions.
Yep.
Coach Malvin, thank you so much. It's been an honor, and please enjoy the rest of your day with your family.
Thanks
Goodbye,
for
Coach.
having
Talk to
me,
you
man.
later. Bye.
Bye bye.
There you have it, guys. Okay, once again, you just watched and listened to Coach Malvin Dinlasan. And he's actually a very good friend of mine, right? We're buddies. It's very obvious. And if you, once again, would like to get in touch with him, he's practically everywhere. Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. And don't forget the website, perfectstartcoach.com. Remember everything that Coach Malvin said about leadership, all right? That leadership starts within you outwards, and that in great or effective leadership comes very effective influencing of people. You need to get their heart. You need to build their character first before anything else. And about culture, all right? Culture builds and forms people. The people also build and form their culture, right? It's like a symbiotic relationship. And marketing, make sure that you are flexible. Make sure that your marketing is all about telling authentic stories that people will buy into, so that if they feel the sincerity there, they're going to take advantage of what you have to offer. Guys, we just watched episode 3 of LinkedIn Inspiration, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and excellence. And we're going to come back next week, same day, Thursday, to thirst for more knowledge, wisdom, skills, additional character, and 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And make sure you have already liked my own social websites, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, so that you can be up to date with who our next guest is going to be. This time, our next guest is going to be a woman of power, a lady of influence. So make sure you look forward to that. All right, guys, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.